Welcome to the King Leo pre-show, everyone. How you doing? Let's make sure the audio's okay. How's everyone doing tonight? Oof, it was a little bright. No, that makes it whiter. All right. That's a little better. How's everyone doing? Let me check the audio. Welcome to the King Leo. How you doing, J-Boss? ¿Cómo está, meu amigo português? Ready for the show? Dude, this is going to be a fun show. I really can't believe that Trump retruthed this stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy because I feel like all of America is living in Godfather 3. You know, the scene. I don't know if you've seen God. Are you a movie fan, J-Boss? Es que vos gosta do cinema, da cinema. You know, Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. That's being a Trump supporter right now. That's what it is. If you're a Trump supporter, you're like, oh, everything's terrible. It's not working. And then you're like, oh, he tweeted something racist. Yes. You know, like that's, you're like, really? That's the end of the other stuff? That's the end of the problems? It's always fun. I love so much of your show. I always love the drops. Thank you, sir. I don't really like movies. Stand-up comedy. I was a big stand-up fan for a long time, man. But do you know anyone new that you like that's still funny? Because I'm curious. I really don't like any of the newer stand-up, but I haven't done a deep dive. Back in the day, I used to watch. I remember, you know who was really promising but wasn't that funny in the long term was Gerard Carmichael. Very funny. I was obviously a George Carlin fan as a kid. Liked Burr. I liked Jeffries. Man, there were some. Ron Funches was a little bit funny. There were some funny comedians. Greg Warren, who's that? I'm gonna look into. Dude, it's impossible to find good stand-up these days. I'm gonna literally bookmark that. Oh shit, we're not on Ethernet. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna have to. Good thing the show. Oh, it's already 10. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Right back. 1 second. It's actually really impressive to me how good Wi-Fi is these days. It's not me bragging. I haven't heard of this guy, dude. I'm going to save this. Seems pretty good. Greg Warren. You know, one time, welcome to the King Leo Show, everyone. I'm your host, King Leo. It's 10 o'clock. Sorry, let me just polish off the pre-show here. I was talking with J-Boss. You know, one time I was in Italy. This was like 2 years ago. And I was in a hostel. You know, I like hostels, but I at this point, I'm not a big fan. But whatever. Back then, I was more hostel inclined, and I liked it. And I was there, and I met this Australian guy, Australian-Irish, which I've since learned they all claim to be Irish, but they're not, like Americans that are Irish. Like, they're Irish, but they're not Irish from what I understand. Whatever. I don't know. They don't like each other. And I was like, dude, you want to get some food? I don't know anyone. I was there to meet a friend, but he was busy that night or something. I was like, you want to get some food? And he was like, sure, man. And so we ended up at this bar. And they were doing stand-up comedy. And it was open mic night. And Italians were doing stand-up comedy. And it was in English. And it was not very good. It was really odd to see. There was actually an American guy. There were some Americans. And this Italian guy from Naples went up there, and it was so cringe and bad. But when I thought about the routine again, I was like, this guy's hilarious. Actually, I told my producer about it. I was like, this guy is really funny. He did a bit about the N-word, you know, the N-word. Where is it?
Say the N-word, go on.
He was talking about how that Italians have an N-word, you know, and it's Napoli for Naples. And bro, this is crazy. Because there were Americans in the audience. It was like an audience of 30 people. I was like, what? Yeah, this is crazy. It was the most surreal thing I've seen in my life. It was so strange. We were both sitting there like, dude, this is fucking weird. Yeah, and then this American guy got up, and it's pretty shitty. But yeah, man, I love stand-up. It's very funny. I've never done it. Curious about doing it, but I'm just not... I don't know. I think I'm not wired that way. All right. Welcome to the show. Let's get started with the show. How's How's everyone doing tonight? We need to get to Trump on these Indians, dude. This is going to be some great stuff, but we're going to have to get there, okay? We have to start with Schizo Watch as usual, man. And today we get to look at Hassan Piker, who was interviewed by the New York Times. They're trying to make Hassan Piker a thing. And I mean, let's hear him out. Let's see what he has to say here about the state of the American economy. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, no, I'm pro piracy all the way, like across the board. Would you pirate a car? Yes. You know, if you could, if one could pirate a car, it was just a classic thing back in the day. The government funded anti-piracy initiatives would be like, dude, would you steal a car? I'm like, yeah, sure. If I could get away with it, if it was as easy as, pirating IP, I would do it. Yeah.
Would you dine and dash from your local diner?
Never. Tip 35%. Mike's, come on.
No, I wouldn't do that. And if I saw somebody doing that, I'd probably pay for their meal.
Yeah. Would you steal a book from the library?
Never.
No.
Would you steal from the Louvre?
Yes.
I would not be logistically capable of executing such a fact, but would I cheer on every news story of people that I see doing it? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's cool. We gotta get back to cool crimes like that. Like, bank robberies, right? Stealing priceless artifacts, things of that nature. I feel like that's way cooler than the 7,000th new cryptocurrency scheme that people are engaging in.
I think this is confirmation that Hassan Piker is Turkish. I mean, this is just Turkish behavior.
Sensational.
I love that the New York Times is platforming Turks like this. This is clearly just Turk behavior, brother. Like this is how I've been explained to me by Greeks how the Turks are. The funny thing is, if you ask the Turks, this is how they describe Greeks. But he's saying it himself. Like, this is just a Turkish guy. This is yes, I like to steal. I am Turkish. That is. How you doing, Eves? How you doing, Robert? I'm not trying to denigrate Turkey, Erdogan #1 or whatever, but dude, this is very Turkish. We have to get back to robbing banks. Isn't it crazy that the New York Times, I hate schizo dealers. Shout out to Afro. By the way, the Chiron is updated. How are you doing, CCTV? I hate schizo dealers as much as the next guy. I really don't like, the Daily Wire or Tucker Carlson or Pod Save America, because all they do is make people crazy, and I don't like that, right? And I want to, at this point, just get a subscription to the New York Times and go around to Whole Foods with my New York Times tote bag to support the mainstream press so that these people will shut up. At least with the New York Times, we'd all agree on one thing. We'd be, oh yes, this war in Iran is very good. And you could go out to the restaurant and have a nice conversation. But then this is what the New York Times is putting out. This is the shame, is that for shame, like the New York Times, this is what they can do now. The Sulzberger family is platforming this, telling people to go shoplift. And look, man, nothing against shoplifting. When I'm in California, when in Rome, right? It's legal there. You do your part. He's from California. But why is the New York Times platforming this? Not to sound like a lib, but why are you platforming it? Is this a winning idea? I've never seen anyone win, unless you're Stalin, where you're going to take it with force. But Hassan Piker will not take it with force. So what is the point of, every Democrat is going to have to go, no, Hassan Piker is just Turkish. That's why he likes to steal. I am just a Democrat. I'm not Turkish. I don't like stealing. This could not be a better agent to hurt the image of the Democratic Party. But let's continue. What else did he have to say? And by the way, people are like, oh, they platform far left, radical, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. This is just ridiculous. How you doing, APK? How you doing? Let's continue.
Right, guys?
I'm pro stealing from big corporations because, you know, they steal quite a bit more from their own workers. However, one thing that might even help your ethical dilemma is the fact that the automated process that they design, these companies know will increase shrink, right? So it's actually factored in. The lemons that you stole are factored into the bottom line of these mega corporations regardless, and they still end up having increased profit margins because they no longer have to pay the cashiers that they used to hire, as opposed to this automated system, knowing full well that people are still going to be able to still steal a lot more efficiently, as a matter of fact, through the automated process.
Totally. Well, I was looking things like, and shrinkage is roughly equal internally as externally. Like they expect it from their employees that they are sort of disenfranchising constantly.
Yeah. But what about the argument that if everyone...
I mean, just why is the New York Times hiring this fat woman? Why is the Sulzberger family hiring this obese woman to have a TV show, to have an opinion? Why is this fat woman here? She already has a chain around her neck. Good. Go see Michaela Peterson. You need to be on the Jordan Peterson diet. Why is this fat woman, you know, we're talking about corporations abusing their workers. I guess the New York Times doesn't pay people $2,000 over the course of 6 months because that's what Ozempic costs. Why is this fat woman... Obviously, Hassan is there because she wants to have sex with him. I mean, it's so obvious, man.
Sensational.
I don't understand why he's not. That's why he's there. And to have this obese woman as the host, and we can say this now, dude, body positivity is dead. Why is this? What is this? I want to support the New York Times. I really would like to. I would like to write a check to the Sulzberger family and say, thank you for keeping America on the same page. Not sane, but on the same page. But when you have people with a BMI over 20, I don't remember how the BMI scale works. Is that normal? What is the normal BMI? She is obese. Why do you have a job where you're facing the camera? This is sexual harassment because I am sexually offended by having to see this woman. You couldn't even get on Ozempic to interview Hassan. Don't you want to have relations with him? Quite clearly, that's what you're doing here, doting over a person who is going on America's paper of record prescribing stealing to normal people. Do you think that that's something that gets you taken seriously? Listen, I'll say it here, man. The corporations steal a lot. The banks steal a lot. I would not preclude you from doing something. I would not tell you. But this is the King Leo show. We are Bajalardians. Bajalardians, check in. You are the New York Times. I can say what I want here. Why shouldn't you steal meat from the Publix? Or from the Walmart? Why shouldn't... What? Walmart, there are criminals out there, and I can't steal some meat when I can't feed myself, when I'm broke.
I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
But this is the New York Times. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's continue. Now we have to get to Florida. This is our little Florida section.
Welcome to the pain zone. It's where we live.
I live in the pain zone. I live in Florida. Let's see my fat Ron the Meatball Italian governor talk about gas prices. As if he hasn't destroyed the pricing in the state. You know, a lot of people talk about the Great Replacement and illegal immigration. Ron DeSantis did the Great Replacement. He did it. But it wasn't with black people or Indians or Latinos. He did it with Californians and New Yorkers. That's who he did it with. And now he's going to complain that things are more expensive because he can blame it on Trump. Let's see here what this fat retard has to say. Let's see what he has to say.
Affordability. We do all this great stuff, and I'm happy with that. But in terms of the stuff that people are getting pinched by, I saw gas was $4 there. I've seen the groceries. I take my kids, like, they go to, like, they want to go to a McDonald's drive-thru, and I do 3 Happy Meals, and it's $40 because they want the Huntrix meal, which they don't eat all the chicken nuggets, and I'm just like, do you really need it? You're not going to eat? Oh no, I wanted that. Okay, so you do that, but you got a lot of these issues that, it makes it tough. So what do we?
He didn't mention flood insurance. He didn't mention housing costs. He didn't mention car costs. He didn't mention car maintenance. He didn't mention home insurance. All things that he had his control that have skyrocketed in this damn state. He didn't mention any of those. He's going to talk about gas and McDonald's. Can you think of a more goy-ish governor in this state? This is the goyiest. This is the goyiest goy to have ever governed in the country. The goyiest. Let's continue. How are you doing, Robbie? I haven't seen you before. If you're new here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Consider becoming a member on Patreon.
Control. If I could, put those menu prices back to 2019, if I had the ability to do it, I would do it. If the legislature could pass a law, we do it. It's just not. But what we can do, what you control as Floridians under your Constitution and in conjunction with this process, is you do control the tax, the property tax. And so
perfect. It's to get rid of property tax. Great stuff. I love it. I love it.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
What a disgusting man. But hang on. You see him complaining about the price of McDonald's. Oh, nice to see you, Robbie. But what is he doing about food? Well, may I remind you, he has this little show. Let's see what Ronnie the Meatball is doing.
I would just say to people, of all the ones I've had in Florida in terms of like a cold sandwich or cold sub, I think I would rank this number 1.
Can you imagine living here with this? I know that you guys probably have your own struggles and everything. Ron DeSantis as governor has really made me understand the struggles of Václav Havel, Nelson Mandela, all of these people that have been imprisoned for decades and decades. This is worse than living in the Soviet Union. This is worse than living under Timur. This is worse than living there is nothing worse than to watch your governor do the Guy Fieri show immediately after complaining about the cost of McDonald's.
Well, we're here at Buchan, which is a great restaurant, but they also have a sandwich shop. So can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to everybody. So we have Buchan Sandwich Shop is open 7 days a week during the day. We run that out of a window in the back kitchen.
Look, it's just so gauche. It's so, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's gauche. The lighting is off. Look, it doesn't even, this is disgusting. Just,
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
People voted for the dude. Like, it's insane. Yeah, I saw a Florida Democrat the other day who was saying, if Republicans have messed up your life so much in Florida, this is a guy running for something. Why not vote Democrat? And I was like, hang on. Whoa. Hang on. Where is it? Hang on. I seem to recall that when Ron DeSantis first ran, Democrats nominated a homosexual black gay guy who has sex at meth parties to run against him. I seem to recall that. I have nothing against homosexuals or black people or people that have gay meth orgies. I just don't think that that should be the candidate you run for governor if you want to win, because people won't vote for them. These Democrats, the Pontius Pilates, I wash my hands of this. Barbara is going free. You did this to us too. Like, it was all of you. I see, how you doing, Spring? I see Robert saying that that he's trying to get a job with Trump, Ron. Robert, I suspect that because I don't think he has anywhere else to go. My producer says he could be secretary of something someday. I would not hire this man. I would not let this man near any lever of power if I were in power. I would want this disgusting freak to be banished, to go live on a remote island in Alaska for the rest of his life. But hang on, let's turn to some lighter news. We have to turn over here. Let's get a little positive here, okay? Let's not complain. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Jaime Wetback, my Hispanic brother from another mother, who is still running for governor. I can't wait for these debates, man. Let's see what the Colombian menace, the Pablo Escobar of Florida, the real MF&G of Florida, bro. James, I have friends who are liberals. I have friends who are communists. I have friends who are anarchists. I have friends who are right-wing. I have friends that are conservative. Maybe. And they all love Mr. Wetback. They say, Mr. Wetback, he can get the transplants to leave our state. Yeah, maybe he can do it. I mean, might as well try it, right? How you doing, Ephra? Might as well try it. What is he saying on the campaign trail these days? What is he saying? Let's listen here.
I could not believe this story. I thought there was something else to it. I'm pretty skeptical of these things. I read the text messages, and what she was doing is she was complaining because there was an oral exam in that building. And this was a capstone project, and they were all...
We went over this story, remember, a few days ago. He's addressing this.
Upset that it was happening. They're like, oh, they're bemoaning it, et cetera, et cetera. And what she said was, Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop a bomb on this building.
I'm clipping that. That's going to the soundboard. I'm going to have him saying it. That's going to the soundboard. One more time. He said it. He's so funny, dude. He's so funny.
Et cetera, et cetera. And what she said was, Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop a bomb on this building. That is a joke, and anyone who thinks otherwise should reread the U.S. Constitution.
You know he was waiting to say it. He was waiting to say it.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say?
He actually said it. He said it on UCF. This is in Orlando. He said it on the UCF campus. Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop a bomb on this building right now. Ephra says, with DeSantis, that hot trans story you always mention is going to be an AI girlfriend. Brother, if they make hot trans AI girlfriend, you're not going to see Benny Johnson leave his room ever, man. That's a problem. How you doing, Robert? I appreciate the super chat, sir. Very generous this week, Robert. I really appreciate that. Let's get some air horns here. Best streamer on YouTube with the best content by far. I appreciate you, Robert. Very nice. Thank you, sir. It's funny, Robert, you say that because I reread the chats, obviously. And by the way, in the Chiron for I think I'm going to do it like this. Robert, anyone who's had a membership or has a membership, I'm going to make it flare the name, and the rest will stay regular pink and the rest of them will flare. I'm going to work on that I need a vibe code that. But it's funny, Robert, you say that because I reread the chats and there's someone in here, I think he's here, CCTV, who says that I have a unique algorithm because he doesn't see this stuff. So in a lot of ways, I feel like this channel is kind of like Drudge Report where we just, the best content. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. But our content is our curation. We are the great curator. I'm happy to provide that service. So I really appreciate that, Robert. One of the best supporters. Robert keeps the lights on out here. That's going towards the Snatch Tim Pool's Beanie Fund. We will do that when we have enough money to do that, driving or flying. All right. Thank you, Robert. One more air horn here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We have to go back here to Mr. Fishback, who's being quote tweeted here by Richard Hanania, who actually interviewed him because he crashed his. He was doing a stream where he was like, James Fishback sucks. He's just a bullshit artist. And James Fishback went into the stream and he was like, Richard, I'm not a bullshit artist. I'm the greatest ever. He says it, and I'm glad he said this is at FAU. This is in Boca, near Jeffrey Epstein's house or whatever. And thank you, Robert. I really appreciate that. We strive for originality. Never be boring. Never be boring. Dare to be original. And that FAU, Eve says, I don't get notifications. On what, Eves? Let me know. On YouTube or on Patreon? Because Patreon, we had that issue with Audio Vibes, so we were able to fix it. I don't remember how, but I should have the messages there to remind me. If it's YouTube, I'm not sure. But he says here that Mr. Fishback is doing a stand-up comedy routine. You have to listen to him here talk about his opponent, Byron Donalds.
In second place behind Congressman Donalds, we are barely trailing him. Soon we will be right on his bumper. And then I'll hit the lights and pull him over.
Byron is black, so that's why... Byron is black, so that's why he's saying that. He's going to pull him over. Let's continue. It doesn't stop there. Like any stand-up comedian, he has to start the story, give you context, and then he'll go deeper.
License and registration, Byron. Hands on the wheel. Hands where I can see him, Byron. You've been through this before.
Byron does have a drug trafficking charge, so he has been through this before.
You know what, Byron? Step out of the car. Byron Donalds, put your hands behind your back. You are under arrest for betraying America to Israel. So our movement is real.
Yeah, he did a bit. Can you believe it? I wish he had done the voice of Byron Donalds. Apparently it came out that Byron Donalds is an open relationship. Listen, man, as I've said, I don't vote. He never promised to me he would arrest Ron. Ron deserves to be arrested at this point. At many points, he deserves to be arrested. If he promised that, I would actually vote. But I gotta say, as a Chaos Monkey, I love it. I love it. This is the funniest guy to run since Trump. Absolutely sensational. Can you imagine doing... Did he write that? Or is he on Twitter that much? I want to pull him over. Byron, hands on the wheel. Yeah, this is something, man. Wow. All right, let's continue. Yeah, we have to get over here. Ephra says, what is the South American equivalent of fishback? I just see this functional ladder fishback, to be honest, but in a good way. Yeah, he has. I mean, it is very Hugo Chavez. That is how Chavez would talk about his opponents. That is going to be more from the left down there, that kind of like boisterous. He's Colombian, dude. Petro, I know not everyone here speaks Spanish or anything, but I know CCT's like, stop the Spanish. But if you look at Petro's Twitter, the president of Colombia, it is very fishbackian. It's in the blood, especially on the Latin American left. They love to be this confrontational. Eve says, I did ask him about that. I did. It is entertaining. The only thing is it usually leads to your country collapsing. But you have a good fun time, so let's get to this story here about a transgender man in Cuba. This is really something, bro. This is a clown world we're in.
So a wild and frankly disturbing story out of the state of Utah. A transgender woman and her partner are accused of kidnapping her child, allegedly to go take her to Cuba and get gender reassignment surgery. Madeline Rivera live in Washington with more on this. Maddie, what do we know?
Hey, good morning, Bill. So the case prompted the Justice Department to send a government plane to Cuba to bring the 10-year-old child back to the U.S. Federal officials say the child's biological father, Rose Inessa Ethington, who's now a transgender woman, and her partner took the 10-year-old for what was supposed to be a camping trip in Alberta, Canada, late last month. But they never made it to their hotel or campground. Instead, after crossing the Canadian border, the couple allegedly flew from Vancouver to Mexico City. Then they took another flight from Mexico to Havana. All of this happening, by the way, without the knowledge and permission of the child's biological mother. Court documents don't state whether Rose and her partner were actually planning on getting the child gender-affirming surgery in Cuba, but the FBI says they found notes at the couple's home with instructions from a D.C. mental health therapist to, quote, send the therapist the $10,000 and instructions on gender-affirming medical care for children. Rose's partner had withdrawn that exact amount in late March, per the complaint. Family members of the 10-year-old boy say they were worried Rose had manipulated him to identify as a girl. Rose's brother tells the New York Times she had been pushing for the child to get transition surgery since he was 5 years old. This seemed to be clearly all be coming from Rose, Rose's brother says. It was heartbreaking and hard for me to see. Rose and her partner have been charged with federal international parental kidnapping laws. They'll face the remainder of their court case in Utah.
Now, listen, I know a lot of people here are not big fans of the transgender movement.
You can't do it. It's disgusting.
But that's not my question here. Look, whether you agree or disagree with transgender surgery for children, my understanding of transgender surgery is that it's not a light surgery. It's not filler. It's not Botox. It's pretty hard to do. Why would you go do this in a third world country? Why would you do that? Even if you support transgender children getting operations, why would you support it being done in Cuba? They don't have gasoline right now, right? That was going to be a butcher job, insane. This takes a real level of commitment to the bit that you have to be crazy to do this. There's no way. Look, if it was Colombia, maybe, okay? It's like you could have the idea, be like, oh, everyone gets surgery done in Colombia. They get breast implants or something. Now, but Cuba, what are you, like the Asada Shakur of the 21st century? You're running away to Cuba to do transgender surgery on a kid? And if you're going to Cuba, I just don't see how anything beyond an amputation would make sense to do in Cuba, of all places. I really, what this makes me curious about is what idea do people have of Cuban healthcare? Because I know people there. I'm not saying propaganda or anything. It is not good. Please do not go to Cuba for a medical operation. I know a guy who had to get spinal surgery in Cuba. It did not go as well as it could. You should not go to Cuba for medical services. I feel like a lot of people, like Hassan Piker, they just hate Miami and Miami, Cuba. So, like, oh, Cuba's great. Maybe Hassan Piker is responsible for this, for saying that Cuba is like great and everything. Why would you do this in Cuba of all places? And I also have a question for Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson kept telling me that the third world countries like Venezuela and Cuba are so based, like they hate. Then why are they going to Cuba to do transgender surgery? Shut up.
Shut up, man. Man, listen. You ain't got to say.
It's just crazy. Efra says, doesn't Cuba have better healthcare than some countries in the West, or at least that is an error? It really doesn't, Efra. Like, in theory, it does. There is one hospital that is very good in Havana. Most of the people I know from Cuba are not from Havana. They are from Santiago and Cienfuegos, which are provinces. They're still major cities. And it is not good. It's very bad. In the past, it was a little bit better, but it's very, very bad. Access to healthcare is very bad in Cuba. It sucks. It really does suck. And whether you blame America or you blame communism, it doesn't matter, but it's just not good. That's the main thing. I mean, this is a PSA here. Please don't get healthcare in Cuba. You can go to Turkey. Turkey has good healthcare. They have okay healthcare. I'm not a doctor, but it's pretty good. Portugal has good healthcare too, from my experience. I went on vacation with my family when I was like 14 to Portugal, and a family member got surgery there because they had a fall at the Torre de Belém and they had to get stitches on their foot. And that was like $100. So, it's not that bad. Dude, I would not go to Cuba for healthcare. So, whether you love or hate transgenders, it's not a good idea. This will save. This will save. This will save. Yeah, all right. This is what we have to watch here. Let's check in on... Yeah, Robert, the old cars, that is just Cuban ingenuity, man. I've seen Cubans do. I think I may have told this story. I was in the Keys once, Key Largo, hanging out with a Cuban couple and some friends. And I saw this Cuban man take one of those mini ice coolers that you buy at the Walgreens. And I'm not kidding. He made that into a little raft with an engine that he used to go catch lobsters that we then ate. It was the tiniest raft, and this is like a 200-pound man riding it. And these people, they're ingenious. I don't know how they do it. Let's check in on Nick Shirley, America's foremost scholar. What is he doing here to our beautiful queen, Ilhan Omar?
Here's the representative, Ilhan Omar.
Hang on, I want to make sure we hear him. Here, the representative, Ilhan Omar.
Here is the representative, Ilhan Omar. Today, we're here in the fraud capital of America. We're here in Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. Here you have some of the best stock traders and top fraudsters like Ilhan Omar. Right now, we are going to give her a new hoodie. She took the last Leering Center hoodie. We have a new one asking, where did our tax dollars go? And we want to see if she'll become a member of the anti-fraud taxpayer.
You have to be the goyiest goy ever to get off on this, dude. You really have to be insane. This is what is accomplished here. What is the point of this? This is clearly a hoodie ad that is being done in Congress.
Club. Now we've made it to Ilhan Omar's office. Here is the representative, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. There it says, abolish ICE. I think we should abolish fraud here inside the United States. Let's see if they'll take the hoodie. Hello. How are you doing? Is Ilhan here by chance? No, she's not. Well, we wanted to see if she'd become a member of the Anti-Fraud Taxpayer Club. We actually have a new hoodie for her right here. And we were just wondering if you could deliver this to Ilhan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And tell her that we wish to abolish fraud here inside the United States as well.
Thank you.
Will you do that? And also, I met this really cute British girl, and she wanted citizenship, and I was wondering like how that would work out. All right, they're calling security. You guys, you can go ahead and become a member of Anti-Fraud Taxpayer Club. Go to antifraudclub.com. You can even cop yourself a hoodie, and now.
Yeah, it's an ad. How much is he selling this for? Let's check the price. Let's check the price here. What is the price? What is this? The antifraudclub.com. Antifraudclub.com. Where's support us? Let's see here. How much is the hoodie? Where the hell is the hoodie? Where's the merch? Shop. Here we go. Shop. $55 for a hoodie.
Technically, according to the strict law of the Torah, not one Gentile in the world deserves to live.
$55. $55. I think we have to do all of them.
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be. Some Gentiles are very stupid. They'll never think. They only want the beer and the alcohol and the sport and the football and the 4th of July barbecue and the beach and the tattoos and the clubs. That's all they have in mind.
Can you believe this? Let's actually look at the material, because for $55, I would expect it to be 100% cotton at least. Oh, 70-30 cotton polyester blend. No drawstring. Brother, if you buy this, you deserve to get scammed. You are buying plastic for $55. Does he change pricing on the size? At least he doesn't do that. You are an animal if you buy this. What's under material and care? Please tell me. Machine wash cold. Yeah, because it's 30% plastic. I don't know we have any people that care here about like materials. I care about them. And polyester is really bad for breathability. It's really bad for your hormones. $55, man. This is insane. Insane. 70-30 polyester. Imagine paying for this crap. It's just, I don't get it. Made in Guam. They say made in Guam. That's great. I met a really cool British girl, and I'm wondering if you get this. One more time. I want to hear his voice.
We have a new one asking, where did our tax dollars go?
Where did our tax dollars go?
Oh, and we want to see if she'll become a member of the
We want to see if to become a member of the anti-tax space club.
I can't stand these fucking people, man. The joke is becoming a reality. Every day I hate one more person. They drive me crazy, man.
This is why I hate conservatives, dude. Only conservatives would lionize this level of goyery. I've never seen something like that. This is... Let's move on. I missed this tidbit yesterday, and then we'll get to Slave Watch. We've been meaning to do Slave Watch for a bit. I didn't show you this yesterday because I hadn't seen it, quite honestly. I don't watch Megyn Kelly. I can't stand Megyn Kelly. It's very hard to watch her. Okay? But we saw part of this. She had on Russell Brand, who was dressed as a surfing wigger evangelical. And I have to play this part here so that you hear a confession from Russell Brand that is completely legal, just prefacing it, that people seized on. We're going to have to listen to the crazy woman, Megyn Kelly, with Russell Brand.
I think many of us just like Trump. You know, we like his personality. Yeah. But then the other truth of it is there are aspects of his personality which are obviously not good and that we've mostly just chosen to overlook.
So we've seen this part. Where is his response? Here we go. Where is it? Is this not the right clip? No, this is not the right clip. Where is it? Where the hell is it, man? All right, hang on. No. I'm going to find this because we need this. So give me some boomer tech moment here. We need to watch this. This is the last bit of Schizo Watch for the day. And you need to see this, okay? There we go. It's literally came up. It literally came up immediately. Here we go. Perfect. I was suspicious because of the lamp. Let's see what Russell Brand had to say on the Megyn Kelly show.
In Europe and in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person. I was a lot younger, and I was an immature 30-year-old. Consensual sex, actually, with a variety of people, when there is a strong power differential, as there is when you're a famous man that has the ability to attract women that I had at that time, I think involves exploitation. I think it is exploitative. I recognize that my sexual conduct in the past was selfish, and I did not apply enough consideration, barely any, I suppose, really, to how that sex was affecting other people.
One more time, just the important bit.
The United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old.
Okay. All right. J-Boss says, my job is to watch Megyn Kelly. I do, look, I watch the YouTube stuff from whenever the title is enticing enough. Because if it's not enticing, then it means it doesn't really matter. And I do keep up with the main stuff. And this is one of these, okay? Russell Brand admits on Megyn Kelly that he slept with a 16-year-old when he was 30 years old. Now, this is legal in the UK. It's illegal in most parts of the United States. I'm not trying to be Michael Tracy here, but a lot of people here are saying, like, what should we do with him? Should we waterboard him?
Do you waterboard him? Do you sleep deprive him? Do you put him in a cold cell? Do you beat him? Do you put cockroaches on him? Do you put hummus up his ass?
I personally, I don't, personally myself, I'm like, what is the, I don't, a lot of people were saying Russell Brand is a PDF file for this, which my question becomes, this goes to the schizophrenia that I think public school has caused in the United States. It's why people can't be friends with people that are younger or older than them anymore. They say, you know, like, you can't do that. So if he's a PDF file, does that mean that the United Kingdom's legal system is a PDF file? Does that mean that Georgia, the state right to my north, you know, if you sleep with a 16-year-old on the Florida line, you go to jail. If you sleep with a 16-year-old on the Georgia line, you get high fives at the bar. You know, I don't really understand how this makes him a PDF file. Now, it is important to note, the then 16-year-old girl accuses Brand of SA, sexual assault, forcing his penis down her throat, end quote, made her choke, end quote, only stopping after she punched him in the stomach. She says he groomed her, called her the child, was emotionally abusive and controlling. Again, this is, I'm not trying to be Michael Tracy here, dude. This is an accusation. I don't know if this has been demonstrated in a court of law, but we have to address something here. We have to address something, which is, why the hell would Russell Brand say this?
Some of them going to sleep. Fuck God!
We are living in Epstein mania, another satanic panic, another PDF file. I'm just imagining his lawyer watching this, the guy who's defending him, going, are you fucking stupid, bruv? Why the hell are you talking about this publicly? Are you fucking insane? Are you mad, bruv? Why would you do this? Why would... And he's promoting a book called How to Become a Christian in 7 Days. Not to agree with Ben Shapiro.
You can't do it. It's disgusting.
But Ben Shapiro said, when people were embracing the great Kanye West, one of my favorites, literally, I will always fight for Kanye West, no matter what. He said, live by the Kanye, die by the Kanye, and kept his distance. Why would you associate with this man? This is a man who has pending legal cases, accusations, a previous drug addiction, previous sympathization with communists. Why? This is the conservative, bro. This is why conservatives, you cannot associate with them.
Conservatives are the worst. You cannot work with them. You have to be in opposition to them. You have to oppose them constantly, even when they sound like you, especially when they sound like you. And you need to deplatform conservatives.
20 years ago, Russell Brand, even 10 years ago, I remember Rebel News or whatever the hell his little news show was called with the dog. 15 years ago, the left loved him. They were like, oh, he's the... And just like always with these goddamn conservatives, 15 years behind, 20 years behind, now he's our guy. Nothing original. These people have nothing original to say. They are just pathetic. Why would you platform this person? Why? Whatever. Let's move on. Just that is what conservatism is. Conservatism is ridiculous. All right, let's move on. Let's get to Slave Watch. Hell yeah. Where is it?
I want you to take your knife. Getting him, King? Make it sing.
I'm not gonna fucking blow my life away working.
I want what I can't have.
Get yourself up and get to work right now.
I'm broke as fuck. The rent's due.
Toby, stay. Toby, stay. Toby, be good now.
Can't wait to make spreadsheets and send emails.
All right. We have to start here. This is a slave over here. That is, they're waking, they're piercing the veil. They're running away from that whip. They are almost free. They're almost a patriot.
Patriot.
Let's listen to this young woman here talk about how she was raised for another time.
My parents are retired public school teachers. They're like younger boomers and have been teachers their whole lives. I want you to think about what life looks like for a household of 2 public school teachers with 2 kids today. Like, what does their house look like? What's their finances look like? Because this was my parents' situation. As 2 public school teachers, this is where I grew up, on a lake with a boat. A 3-bedroom house, not like a super fancy house, but a 3-bedroom house. There are currently 2 houses for sale on this lake. One is $530,000 and the other is $1.2 million. On the lake my parents moved onto in the 90s as 2 public school teachers with 2 children. They never had side hustles, they never had summer jobs, they had summers off. They were 2 public school teachers, and this is what that afforded them. My fiance and I now make combined what my parents made when I was like in high school, like decades into their teaching careers. Our apartment, when it rains on the outside, it rains on the inside. It's like enraging and unfathomable thinking about the world that people older than us got to live in, because no one ever gets to live like this with normal jobs ever again.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
She's almost free. She is almost free. She really is. She really had me in the first 90%. She almost had me. Yes, I understand. Listen, man. Don't blame the boomers. We need to stop with this boomer blame. Okay. There is a little bit of blame, okay? If you wanted to keep this boomer lifestyle in the 1990s for today, you should probably blame the silent generation, the greatest generation. Why? Why do I say that? Because we would have had to bomb Europe and Japan again. That's the only way it could have happened. I think a lot of people don't realize how important that was. When you bomb Europe out of existence in Japan, and you're the only game in town, you can afford to live in this luxurious American way, this luxury automated communism. But it's time for us. I've heard this my whole life. I really have. I've heard it from millennials, and I get it. You don't like the boomers. They are not your time. I promise you, if you had been in the boomers' position, you would have done the same thing. I promise you would have done the same thing. You would have done the same thing. These people, and I think we've talked about it enough. Now it's time to start thinking. You cannot buy the house as a public school teacher. Wow, you can't buy the house being paid to do child abuse. Oh my God. Oh!
You didn't build that.
Yeah, you can't. I'm sorry. It's over. There's no value on education anymore. It's just true. Sorry about it. You can't do that. It doesn't work. You can't do it anymore. What am I going to tell you? Just accept it. Let's accept it. Okay? Just true. Now, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? That means we need to start thinking. You need to run away. You need to stop being
I'm a house nigga.
You need to run away from the plantation. If the jobs aren't working, if your apartment is not good, we need to become more creative. We need to find a better way to live. The only way out is through. We must always become tired of winning. It's just not, it's not possible for people to sit around blaming. I get it, bro. They weren't the best stewards. Okay, now we're here. Now it's time to do something about it. Now it's time to do something about it. What are you going to do? Complain on TikTok all day? You could move to Mexico after committing a series of bank robberies in Utah and live like a queen. Don't do that. That's illegal. You could become the greatest drug dealer that Los Angeles has ever seen and live on the waterfront. Don't do that. That's illegal. But there are so many things you could do. There's so much more to hope for than to live by a lake as a public school teacher. There's so much more to hope for. So that's my message, man. Like you gotta move. You gotta do something. You gotta do something. How you doing, John Scone? Stream on Kick. I'll look into that. I don't know much about Kick. I haven't been on Kick. What is on Kick? Let me check that out, dude. Kick. I know that's where Clavicular and these other guys stream. I've never been on here. Is this one of these where it disappears? You know what? Do I have to pay money to do this? You know what, John Scone? I might take you up on this, man. Sign up here. Interesting. Browse. This is where Myron is? Interesting. All right. We might add it on. I was doing TikTok for a bit, but I didn't like it. I'm a big YouTube head, personally. It's Last Resort. Kind of dark humor. All right. We'll do it. All right. Well, it's almost 11. We got to get through this. All right. Yeah, this is pretty good here. Ephra says, I heard the value of the dollar is getting devalued to almost all currencies. Yes, and I have a friend. He's great. He lives in Chicago, great guy. And he's a real white man, okay? He's not, some resentful guy, okay?
You are fighting against America and you hate white people.
Okay, he's not that kind of guy. He's a real white from Texas, Adrian. I'm getting a haircut. I'm sorry. I know I have to get a haircut. Whenever I go to get a haircut, it's $50 because I always I hate tipping. I barely tip. I really don't tip. I don't tip at bars. I'm an asshole, dude. I don't tip at bars. I don't tip. I tip the lowest option on deliveries. I tip at restaurants if it's really, really good. but I tip my barber super well, and he charges $25, and I always leave him $25, so it's $50, and I'm like, I don't want to go get the hair, but I guess I'll get the haircut. I need to. My producer told me, you're looking too shabby. You need to, if we're the sane channel, if we are the people keeping everyone sane through our Bajulardi and insanity, we have to keep it very good. All right. But yeah, Ephra, in terms of devaluing the dollar, that is what they're doing. But yeah, so my friend, he's white, super white, very good guy. You'll see him in the chat sometimes, actually. He comes in sometimes. I won't tell you who he is, though. And he told me when Trump was elected in 24, he said, brother, this is just like that scene in Goodfellas called the bang. Is it called the bang up job? What's it called? Let me pull it up, man. Well, actually, let's interrupt Slave Watch because we have a lot to get through besides this. We'll finish that tomorrow. Let me show you the scene from Goodfellas, man. He's told me this is what it's gonna be for the United States. Where it's this scene? It's a famous scene. Where is it? When he gets the partner. Here we go. There we go. Let's watch this. He told me this is what the Trump administration was gonna be. Let's watch this, man. I think he was right.
Not even fair. No.
You don't understand. The joint is over.
Oh, you run the joint. Maybe I'll try to help you, all right?
God bless you, Paulie. Okay. I appreciate it. God bless you. Always been fair with me.
All right.
Now the guy's got Paulie as a partner. Any problems, he goes to Paulie. Trouble with the bill, he can go to Paulie. Trouble with the cops, deliveries, Tommy, he can call Paulie. But now the guy's got to come up with Paulie's money every week, no matter what. Business bad? Fuck you, pay me. Oh, you had a fire? Fuck you, pay me. Place got hit by lightning, huh? Fuck you, pay me.
What if I get one of those TVs?
Nah, just...
This model of business, which is what the Trump administration, let me see if there's the full scene, man. This is what he told me it was going to be like. He told me, oh, here we go. Perfect. I found someone that has it. Let's start from where it ended. When they're actually burning the restaurant is where I wanted to show
Tommy,
you.
he can call Paulie. But now the guy's got to come up with Paulie's money every week, no matter what. Business bad? Fuck you, pay me. Oh, you had a fire? Fuck you, pay me. Place got hit by lightning, huh? Fuck you, pay me.
What if I get one of those TVs?
Nah, I'll be sorry you didn't break any hole.
Also, Paulie could do anything, especially run up bills on the joint's credit. And why not? Nobody's gonna pay for it anyway. And as soon as the deliveries are made in the front door, you move the stuff out the back and sell it at a discount. You take a $200 case of booze and you sell it for $100. Doesn't matter, it's all profit. And then finally, when there's nothing left,
fucking shame.
When you can't borrow another buck from the bank or buy another case of booze, you bust the joint out.
Bust it out.
A match.
Any help reaching anything? You look like you're decorating a Christmas tree, you fucking prick. You don't know what you're doing. Show me 5 pounds.
That's enough. And then the place blows up. This is what he told me it was going to.
Family, they live in 5 pounds.
It was going to be under the second Trump administration. He said this very prescient. He said, listen, man, they are going to do a bust out of the United States. It's not because it's something good. It's not because we need to do it, but partially it is our back is against the wall. They are going to devalue the dollar. It is going to get significantly more difficult for people here. However, they will keep interest rates up to keep international investment coming in. They will pull a Volcker, but in a time that doesn't really make sense because we're in QE. They are going to destroy the country economically with the idea of saving it, unlike, burning it all down. He was more radical. He was like saying, no, their goal is to burn it all down. But there is an argument that why would you do that? It's the only grift in town, right? Trump is rich in American dollars. I'm sure he has Russian rubles and African CAF and Swiss CHF. But why would they destroy the whole thing? But my buddy was insistent, dude. He was like, no, this guy is getting elected, like the mafia, to run up the credit card, to destroy this country. And he's not a lib, dude. He voted for Trump in 2016, and he was like, this is what's going to happen. I was like, all right, And while I disagree a bit on the outcome desired, I think the outcome is probably to lower the cost of supply, so to do some sort of supply side economics, enough that everything gets incredibly cheap, and to keep foreign investment basically hostage in the United States, you could save the country. I'm not exactly sure that's their intention, but you know, it's crazy, you know. Yeah, Efra, I would say that I think that we're going to see a lot of those types of scams. A lot of people are really, really. I don't know if it's that I'm not white enough. I'm not white, okay? I'm not white.
Why are you in our country? You need to go back.
But I'm in the country, okay? I'm an American. I believe in America. But I have my devious Latin mind, you know? And so when I hear about people that are like, I'm a slave, I can't pay my car payment, it's $1,300 a month. I'm just going in my head, I'm sorry, do you know what we do in Latin America? You fucking lose the car. Your buddy steals it, or you drive somewhere where there's a lot of flooding and the engine no longer works and it gets totaled. And I think Americans are going to start doing this for a lot of the problems they have, whether it be cars or it be their houses. This is very Latin American. This is what happened in a lot of ways over there. And I'm just like, the white man ain't thinking like us, man. The white man needs to, the child of Yakub, instead of crying like a little baby, where's our Rittenhouse clip?
That's right, run.
I can't afford my car payment. You don't have to do the car payment, brother. You just drive in Little Havana. It's when it rains, it's over. If it's electric, you're set. They don't want to pay me. They have money at the dealership. Okay, brother, fucking take it. All I'm saying, I'm not saying you should do that. That is insurance fraud. That is illegal. That is not good to do. But it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it is just going to happen. So let's grow up a little bit. And that's what people do. That's what people do in Latin America. That's what people do, I'm sure, in Africa. I'm sure they do that in Eastern Europe. Chinese probably do that shit too. You know? The white man is like, can't do that. That's not ethical. Was it ethical when they gave you a 30% loan for a Toyota Cruiser? Was that ethical? I don't think that was very ethical. I think we call that stealing in the rest of the world. That is not allowed. If you want to be like a total like wignat, you know, I don't want to be racist.
Again, I don't want to get all racist or whatever, but you know,
isn't that usurious? Isn't that bad? Isn't that against the Bible? So if it's against the Bible, if you're such a Bible believer, integrity, if they broke the rule when they gave you a 30% APR for a shitty car, why can't you break the rule back? Don't do it. It's illegal. I wouldn't tell you to do it. I wouldn't tell you to do it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So, but all right. All right. Let's continue. Let's get to the rest of the show. We have to get to President Trump. This is delicious. We're going to get to the Indian thing, which is very, very crazy. All right. And we're going to do it in a very interesting way. We're not going to do it by me reading it to you. We're going to go straight to the source. Okay. Straight to the source. All right. Firstly, I need to show you what we've been following a lot. President Trump, because he's been attacking the Holy Father, the Pope. He's been mad at him and treating him poorly.
You fat, you stink, and you in my country. I'm the top. You can't live in your own country. You're a monkey in your country.
That's what Donald Trump sounds like when he's talking to the Pope. He's very angry at the Pope. Look, I don't think it's very appropriate, personally, you know, as a postmodern Catholic myself. He was saying the Pope was weak on crime, that the Pope should not say anything until he condemns Iran. Well, seems like the Pope might have heard him. Let's listen here to what the Pope had to say today.
I condemn all actions that are unjust. I condemn the taking of people's lives. I condemn capital punishment. I believe that human life is to be respected and that all people from conception to natural birth, their lives should be respected and protected. So when a regime, when a country takes decisions which takes away the lives of other people unjustly, then obviously that is something that should be condemned.
So what is it now? I mean, are we going to get a retraction or something? Are we going to get... He said he was weak on crime, but now he's saying what Trump wanted to hear. You know, I'm wondering, you know, are they going to get an apology or something? I'm just wondering. I'm actually wondering. All right, that's enough for... I know we have some Pope haters in the chat, and that is absolutely fine. We welcome everyone here. Everyone here. CCTV, I was going to ask you, are you like a Spencerite? You know, like because Richard Spencer, one of my favorite people. Because I see you attack Abrahamism altogether, and I'm very interested. I can't wait to order Spencer's new book with Mark. He talks a lot about that, and I find it to be fascinating because I'm an open-minded guy, so I listen to everyone. Let's continue. Today, President Trump. This is the update before we get to the main thing, okay? This is what he had to say about the update on Iran. Okay, let's see what he had to say.
On the war with Iran, how long are you willing to wait until you get a unified response?
Don't rush me, Jeff. You know, guys like you want to say, oh, so outside of the little wise guy ships, I call them the wise guy ships, the little boats that they have running around with guns in them. We'll take them out too when we see them. But
there was a cut. What wasn't the problem? 2 cuts. Okay. Ooh. I didn't get a notification on my end. Thank you, J-Boss. So, we have a war for 18 years in Vietnam. Does this mean that we're going to have a war for... He's doubling down. He said this before. World War II, that one was a biggie. Absolutely, that was a biggie. Absolutely. He doesn't want to compare it to World War II. I hope this is art of the deal. Honestly, dude, the thing is, though, as I've said repeatedly, are we having is the war in Iran even happening? I mean, is there a war? Is there not a war? I don't even know. It's just what's going on over there? You know, I feel like the war stopped and there were peace talks and people might have died. I don't know anything. Do you know what's going on? Is there a war in Iran? Was there ever a war in Iran? Will there ever be a war in Iran? So when I say, you know, like, I don't want to sound like Dave Smith. Oh, God. Oh my God. But, you know, I know Dave Smith is going to be like, you know, he can't say that. 18 years. You know, that's, maybe he's trying to get us to go back to the war for so long. But what I'm thinking is, dude, I hope this war lasts 1,000,000 years. Why not? Why not? The war isn't even real. Where is the war? Gas prices went up last week. Yesterday, gas was $3.99 in Florida. Now it's $3.89. Why did that happen? I don't know. Is the Strait of Hormuz open? That was 10 cents. That's a significant cut. Why did it go down? Why did it goes? Why? What is going on? I don't understand what's going on. Do you understand what's going on? I'd rather not even try anymore. You know, it seems like Bibi Netanyahu was right.
I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
He told me a oil spike is just, it goes up and it goes down. And it went up and it went down and then it went up again and then down and then up and down and up. So is this war going to be 18 years or so? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like this war is going to last 1,000,000 years. We have always been at war with Iran. Whatever. All right, let's continue. All right, let's continue. What else did he have to say here? What else? Adriana says, I go to PBD for all the right opinions on Trump and Iran. The numbers, guy. I've been meaning to cover PBD. I don't know if you guys have read in the description, but it's just so hard. He had on John Kiriakou today, one of the greats. It was very funny. But there's nothing that PBD's done lately that I'm like, I need to show you guys. I wanted to go over him reading the letter from Luigi Mangione, but it just felt superfluous. Efra says, it took me some time to figure out what Iran's strategy was by agreeing to a ceasefire, but it's a genius plan by their end. It seems like Iran is waiting for the U.S. to restart the war. The reason for that is that it needs justification on why they're doing this and not the other Western countries involved. My producer completely disagrees with you, Efra. He thinks that it was the dumbest decision they've ever made. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just telling you his rationale so we can red team this. What he says is $6 in Nevada. Robert, what is that taxes or transportation? What is the normal price, Robert? What is gas where you guys are at and what's the normal price? Please let me know. He says that's completely wrong, that he thinks that it was the greatest mistake they've ever made because they lost a lot of momentum. They looked like the crazy guy in the room. And they really did. I mean, they really had us on the ropes there for a bit where I was like, God damn, bro, these guys are willing to blow up anything. And now, excuse me, sorry, just a little gas there. Now they're really not looking like the unreasonable guy. Now they're looking kind of reasonable, kind of normal. And it's like, he doesn't agree with that personally. But, let me know what you think, because if they want to restart the war, my producer, who's a Muslim background, told me, dude, this is some stupid Muslim shit. His words, not mine, where they say that if your enemy wants to talk, you are forced to talk. And he was like, and I truly believe these people believe the religion. And that's why they did it. And the U.S. is taking advantage of this so that now they look like not crazy. And they've lost that aura, that bit of aura they had. All right. Let's see what he had to say here about people betting on betting markets about military operations, which is a security leak for a lot of people in their view.
Mr. President, apparently there was a special forces soldier who was involved in the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro, who was arrested by federal authorities today on suspicion of insider trading and betting on Polymarket. Are you concerned that federal employees are betting on these prediction markets and potentially getting rich?
Well, I don't know about it, but was he betting that they would get him or they wouldn't get him?
It sounds like he was betting on his removal from office, that Maduro would be removed.
Well, that's
it sounds
interesting.
like he was involved in the operation.
That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team. It's a little like Pete Rose. Pete Rose, they kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no good, but he bet on his own team.
I kind of get what he's saying. Mr. Elu is, brother, you have been missed. Mr. Elu, you've been missed, sir. Mr. Elu, you've missed everyone calling me Dave Smith. Mr. Elu, glad he's back. It's normally $3 a gallon, Robert. What? 100%. That's crazy. Robert says, bet all the gas prices go down before the midterms because the oil companies love Trump. Yeah, that's possible. That is possible. Robert, you're right. They really do bring in it's just ridiculous. Like they really do bring out, A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz's company, they started this thing called monitoring the situation. And their view is that no news cycle lasts more than 2.5 days nowadays. And that is true. That's true. That's part of the hypnosis. That is true. Like, I don't know, and we'll get to the Indian thing because it's interesting, but this is a problem where people don't really have any long-term memory. And if they lower the gas prices to $1 because they want a certain political outcome, who knows? Maybe if you lower the gas prices, more libs will go vote. But that's an interesting theory, Robert. Absolutely. How you doing, Terrence? I haven't seen you here before. We have too many Indians here. No, bring all the Indians over here, man. I want to hear their take. But yes, this is normally considered a security breach when someone, I've told you guys before, I had a college professor that was involved in gambling back in the day when they were capturing Gaddafi, and they banned insider trading on public platforms like this about getting Maduro or Gaddafi because it was leaking insider information. But Trump is saying, Mark Andreessen's just terrible, dude. He's just terrible. Mr. Elu, I hate Mark Andreessen. Mr. Elu, I said yes, so you weren't here. Coolest Indian in the world is Kash Patel. right after Mr. Elu. Could have missed the end. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting as a theory of mind, whether, you know, beyond patriotism, especially when we have a mercenary army at this point, as patriotism is at an all-time low, would it be best if the people had skin in the game, if they had to bet on their own operation's success or lack of success? Kind of interesting. I don't know. All right, and this is about the use of nuclear weapons on Iran. I have to show you that. I have to remind you, President Trump said he was going to extinguish a civilization, so I don't think this is completely unwarranted, the question, but this was his answer.
So would you use a nuclear weapon against Iran? You posted on Truth Social a few weeks ago.
We don't need it. Why do I need it? Why would a stupid question like that be asked?
Why
would I use a nuclear weapon when we've totally, in a very conventional way, decimated them without it? No, I wouldn't use it. A nuclear weapon should never be allowed to be used by anybody.
You said you were going to extinguish a civilization. So does this mean we were going to do it with ice picks or something? They were going to go over there and ice pick every Persian? I mean, everyone assumed he meant to nuke. I didn't think he was going to do it. He wasn't going to do it. Obviously, he wasn't going to do it, but that is how President Trump is... You know, are you happy with what you voted for, everyone? I'm just wondering. Yeah. Speaking of, we have to yeah. All right. I know how to do this. All right. We have to talk about Indians. Indian people. How you doing at everything? I don't know a lot of Indians. I've met like 5 Indians in my life. No, I've never been to India. To be honest, I'm not that interested. Not because of any like racist reason. I just don't like to take flights that long. Okay, I would love to check out India if I had the machine from The Fly and I could teleport over there and become Jeff Goldblum mixed with a fly. But I can't do that because I live in America. I only took one flight like that, and that was to China, and that was terrible, but it was a great experience over there. Okay, I don't want to go. I'm not interested in India. All right. The Indian people that I know, I met really nice Indian people. You know, I met 2 really cool Indian. I met an Indian guy who I think works for RAW now, which is the Indian Intelligence Service. Very nice guy. You know, whatever. I don't work with Indians. I don't know how Indians are. But as we all know, there has been a rising anti-Indian sentiment in the United States as of recent. The last year and a half, people are like, these Indians are gross. These Indians are disgusting. I have seen some of the Indian street food videos, and I have to admit, they are pretty gross. But I'm not going to make a judgment of all Indians. I don't know how Indian... we love everybody on this show, man. It's just, I'm going to talk about Indians being bad. No hate here, okay?
Shut up! Be quiet before you get X out.
All right. No hate. So, what happened? Well, firstly, I wanted to show you again Mr. Fishback over here talking about one of the coolest Indians in the world, who is Kash Patel. I really don't want to go to India, dude. Why would I want to go? I don't know if that's directed at me, John Scone, but like, that flight sounds terrible. How long is the flight to India, dude? Because I know you have to change over New Jersey. You have to... Miami to India flight time. Like, how long is this? 19 hours! Fuck off, dude. I'm not doing a 19-hour flight. I have stuff to do. Oh my God. 19-hour flight? Fuck that. I'm not doing a 19... Imagine doing a 19-hour flight. Jeez. I had everything says, is this the speech where we put the Burger King crown on? No hate here. All right. Here is Mr. Fishback. Firstly, I had to show him talking about one of the coolest Indians to ever live, Kash Patel, who likes to throw back brewskis with the boys.
And I'll tell you, Kash Patel, competency is not one of his strengths. I wouldn't trust him to investigate what happened to my DoorDash last night. And to be fair to him, it was Indian food. But it's really simple. It's really, really simple. I am ashamed that my party is running cover for pedophiles. We must release the Epstein files, all 6 million of them.
Okay, so what's relevant here is this and this is what I'm confused here. President Trump is now getting pressured by the more radical elements of the right to hate Indians. Indians are not in vogue. Indians are not cool. But President Trump has hired Indians like Russell Peters. No, I know that comedian. This is James Fishback, dude. We've been covering him for months. He's running for governor of Florida. He's hilarious. Not gonna win, but he's very funny. Now people are attacking Kash Patel, and obviously there is a racial subtext, of course, because it's America. It's fine, whatever. Because we've seen this with H1B and all this. There's a lot of like anti-Indian sentiment. Look, man, that's fine. You're allowed to hate whoever you want. This is America, no? Okay. So what did Trump tweet? All right. Oh, truth. Sorry, truth. This is what he tweeted. Okay. This is a snippet here from the Michael Savage show talking about Indians. We're going to watch Michael Savage say it, okay? Before we do that, I have to show you something because I want you to be aware of Michael Savage's background. This is not his real name, Michael Savage. His real name is Michael Allen Weiner. This is what Michael Savage looks like. Michael Savage is 84 years old. He is crazy. He is very Mark Levin, okay? He has a child, Russell Weiner, who is a billionaire that founded Rockstar, the energy drink. Where is that? Here, the Rockstar energy drink, which he sold for $4 billion, okay? This is who he is. He was let me see this here. Shift in politics. Where is this? Yeah, he worked in nutrition and he was an academic. He says that he wanted to be a stand-up comic like Lenny Bruce. So you're going to hear a lot of that. He rebranded himself as Michael Savage and got into politics, and then got into radio, which is Radio Hutu always, and then had TV. He's an independent-minded. He's an advocate of wildlife conservation. That's pretty cool. He opposes illegal immigration. He's opposed to the European Union because it's Hitler's dream of a united Europe under German control. Thank you very much. He has voted Republican forever. Talks about the white genocide. No, we don't like white people dying or anything. But just to be sure, I just have to show you Michael Savage's. Okay, I'm not saying anything like this. We know that white genocide is considered bad as a word or whatever for people. All right. So anyway, this is Michael Savage. Real name Michael Allen Weiner. Hey, cool it! I know what you guys are doing. Cool it in there.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
I know what you're doing in there with his last name. All right. Let us listen to what Michael Savage, let's watch him, what he had to say about Indians that Trump retweeted. Okay, where is this here? We have it over here. And we're going to go through the rest of his YouTube channel. All right, where is this, man? Yeah, all right, we can start here. Let's do this, man. This is Michael Savage transmitting from his living room. No. Close this. No. I don't need the top check.
Narrow the Federal Reserve's mandate to a strong dollar and stable prices. Right now, the central bank is also charged with maximizing employment, managing long-term interest rates, and regulating banks. It's doing none of its jobs well. Its mandate to maximize employment requires it to inflate the currency, which contradicts its mandate to keep prices stable. As we aren't getting real employment growth anyway, we have nothing to lose. 23. End the H-1B visa program. I was pushing that 10 years ago. And the H-1B visa program, it's gone up, not down, even under Trump.
This is the relevant part.
We have STEM workers unemployed and ready to start tomorrow. We don't need to bring in temporary help from other countries. Big business will have to pay the market rate here in the United States. That ship has sailed. That bird has flown. India now floods the tech industry, and a white boy cannot get a job in the tech industry. I know it for a fact. This is not hyperbole. I can give you keen examples if you would like. The Indians control the hiring in high tech, and do the Chinese, and white boys need not apply. It's the worst racism I've ever seen in my life.
Now, Michael Savage, again, he says it's the worst racism he's seen in his life, was born in 1942. I sincerely doubt that this is the worst racism he's seen in his life. I'm not denying that this is obviously something real. I've read about this, about how even intra-Indian relations in tech are very difficult because of the caste system. I've heard that Indian hiring managers will feel someone here because there's an undergarment that higher caste Indians wear, and they'll try to feel for that. Or they'll ask you if you're a vegetarian and all this, which is all to nail your caste. But you were born in the 1940s. I'm pretty sure you've seen another kind of racism, given that you were born and as a child saw the Jim Crow South. So, okay, great stuff. Let's continue.
4, institute a flat tax. Right now, half of U.S. citizens pay no income tax at all, while the other half pays progressively more as they become more productive. This is unfair and counterproductive.
All right, that's enough. Let's actually look at the statement now, because I have to show you the actual, what it is, because I'm just playing from the show, but I think he compiled it from the rest of the show, okay? Let's see this. The first page is really the relevant one, and you might have heard it there already. All right. This is what he has to say. Welcome to the Savage Nation. Today's brief. This is how he posted it. Abbreviated discussion will be about the arguments that I just listened to before the Supreme Court about birthright citizenship. I was somewhat incensed by listening to the argument because all I heard was legalese being bandied back and forth, and quite noticeable to me was that the person bringing the arguments in favor of flooding America with illegal aliens to change the demographics forever was a Chinese American who looks to me like the classic ACLU attorney. Very smart, very evil, and very devious. The ACLU is like the head of the snake. They have been forever, and they were again trying to turn America into a cesspool. We all know that these arguments should not be conducted in the abstract of a courtroom. This is really not about law. Well, it's an amendment, but okay. This is about public opinion. Now, I could start arguing about the Constitution itself, and I'll run into a stone wall with you. We can't modify the Constitution because it's written in stone, and if we do, they'll take away our First and Second Amendment, which is what they would do. So that's a problem. The Constitution was written before air travel, needless to say, before television, before the internet, blah, 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 blah. A baby here becomes an instant citizen, and they bring the entire family in from China or India or some other hellhole on the planet. You don't have to go too far to see that. English is not spoken here anymore. There's almost no loyalty to this country amongst the immigrant class coming in today, which was not always the case. No, they're not like the European Americans of today and their ancestors. The Irish integrated, the Italians integrated, the Polish integrated, the Lithuanians, the Romanians, the Russians. They all integrated and became Americans in the melting pot. The idea of the melting pot is long over. It is now just cash in pot. We've gone from the melting pot to the chamber pot. As I said many years ago, you don't have to go any further than any city in America to see what this has wrought upon the country. So to listen to these very wise, smart lawyers arguing blah, 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 birthright citizens should be subjected to a national vote. Because no longer can we take any more of this shit. I don't like getting vulgar, but I can't take it anymore. The country has been stolen from us by these effing lawyers. Shakespeare had it right. I didn't like listening to all of these fine arguments without talking about the realities in place and how this has become a bankrupt welfare nation. This is just ranting about the ACLU, blah, blah, blah. Turn this into a colony of China. Yeah, this part's relevant here. ACLU attorney Wang is pushing to destroy our national identity, turn us into a colony of China, but it's not limited to China. It's also India. They're also abusing it. I used to be a great supporter of Indians in India until I opened my eyes up to what's going on here. White men need not apply to jobs in the state of California, never mind in high tech. I don't care what your qualifications are. You're not getting a job at high tech in California. Your chances are nil. You have to be from India or China because almost all the internal mechanisms are setting up to be run by Indians and Chinese. I know it for a fact. You don't have to argue with it. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't argue with me. All right. I hold all the power with the military. That's what he said to the Supreme Court. Then sure, let them come here and drop a baby in the 9th month of the doorstep and turn him into an instant citizen and bring in all their ancestors from India and from China. And it goes on. That's about it. The ACLU is a gangster criminal organization, blah, blah, blah. So here we see this. Great stuff. This is what President Trump tweeted. I see Efra said something. Every culture has its good and bad. White people are very neurotic. They have very good qualities. I love the white people. We love white people on this channel. All right. Now, this is Michael Savage here. Savaging the Indians. Okay. Listen. I'm sure that Indians get a lot of jobs in tech. Absolutely true. Now, this honestly to me, man, whether you agree or disagree with eliminating jus solis, which has been the law of the land for 150 years, I believe, 14th Amendment. Listen, there are different perspectives on this. Okay? There are different perspectives. However, I'm not sure if this is the correct format for people to put out, like President Trump, in terms of, look, what I'm trying to say here is this. Michael Savage, and by the way, I have to be clear, he threw in the Lithuanians because he is Lithuanian. Let's go to his early life real quick. Savage was born Michael Allen Wiener in the Bronx, one of 3 children of Benjamin Wiener, a Jewish immigrant from Russia. His mother was from Canada. Sorry, Russia. That's why I said that. Now, I don't think this is even true. The idea that Italians integrated in all this. Italians didn't really integrate into the United States until the 1990s with the RICO Act, in my opinion, with Giuliani. It took one of their people to take the other people out. I'm not sure if everyone actually integrated in the way they said. I'm not arguing for or against birthright citizenship, dude. We're not going to change anything on this channel. This is just a channel, okay? However, what is more important here, what is the meta-analysis here, is that President Trump posted this, okay? This is very important. Why did he post this, okay? Why would this, that is so insulting to Indians, why would he post this? These Indians, I know this because I made videos about India on this channel. I made a video about where we talked about the India-Pakistan war, and I was talking about how Pakistan pushed India's shit in with Chinese technology. And I got a bunch of Indians in the comments mad at me because they were saying, "Sir, we must report you because you're not nice to India." And I'm like, I'm talking about the war. This isn't about nice or not. You lost. You got your shit pushed in. What's the big deal? Sometimes you take a loss and you nut up or shut up, all right? Anyway, this is obviously going to incense Indians. We saw Andy Ogle yesterday talking about how Guatemalans impregnate 14-year-olds. I'm not sure this is great diplomacy, okay? I'm not sure this is great diplomacy. Oh, we got a super chat from Love is a 4-letter word. How you doing, Jen? I live in Silicon Valley. I had an amazing conversation with my Uber driver today. He was Turkish and so lovely. How was your day? My day was great. I went to the gym today. Appreciate it. Went to the gym in the morning. Witnessed a car crash on my way back. Then I went on. Look, man, I'm not even fronting. I'm gonna show you because I've been hitting it every day. Check out my activity tracker app. Been hitting them 10,000 steps as well. Got my 10,000 steps in. I've been tracking these Egyptian geese that have moved into my neighborhood. They're invasive. They're not supposed to be in this country. The Egyptian geese need to leave this country. They do not belong in Florida. They are invasive. They hate white people.
You are fighting against America and you hate white people.
But I like watching them because they scream every morning. I've been waking up at 7 in the morning because these Egyptian geese just scream at each other. They form bands all morning, dude. Peacocks are bad, but Egyptian geese they're the worst. The worst. So yeah, and I've been tracking this duck that had babies. She had 11 babies. She has 8 left. Pretty good mommy. She lost the most bright colored duckling, which was all yellow. Just sad. And I'm feeding these crows that come to my backyard because I'm trying to get them to bring me gifts. Crows bring you gifts if you feed them. So far they haven't brought me anything, but they'll eat all the crackers and boiled egg I make them. But yes, that was how my day was. I appreciate the super chat, Jen. I can't believe you live in SV. Where are you in SV? Did I actually ever go to Silicon Valley proper? Are you in San Francisco or in Silicon Valley? I think I drove by Silicon Valley, but I've spent a lot of time in San Francisco. I love San Francisco. Where is it on the map? Silicon Valley. Are you Indian, Jen? Is that why you're tuning in? Silicon Valley. No, I haven't really spent much time down here. I've been mostly in San Francisco. I love San Francisco. What? I'm not Mexican, CCTV, but they bring I know that's what I'm trying to get them to bring me cash. That's illegal. I can't train them for that. Palo Alto. That's very cool. Very cool. I'm not Mexican. Jen is white. Very cool. Palo Alto. What do you do, Jen? I'm curious. In Palo Alto. Wow. Jen is a fucking spook, man. Jen is friends with Peter Thiel out there. That's crazy. Yeah, Peter Thiel lives in Palo Alto, right? Very nice. Very nice. Very cool. I love this area of the country. San Francisco is my favorite city in the world. I really do love it a lot. That's very nice, Jenny. You're very privileged to live out there. I'd like to go there, but I'm very scared of the CRS, the California Revenue Service. Not because of any reason other than I know that they will screw you if you leave the state. You're a dentist? You're Peter Thiel's dentist. I'm sure he's got some throat bruising, and that's so dirty. That's so messed up. Whatever. All right. Let's move on. Thank you for the question, Jen. All right. So, what's wrong with feeding crows, dude? And the rodents in Florida, they already live here. They're in the trees. It's annoying. California is the most beautiful place in the world. All right, so why are we bringing this up? Because I had to show you this. This is Michael Savage's YouTube page. Let's look at it, okay? Michael Savage has 128,000 subscribers. He's not live right now, okay? He gets, look at this. No, it's not bad. I mean, I'm not one to talk shit, right? But, averaging around 10K views per video. It's not a great conversion, but whatever. That's just how it works. The titles of the videos are not optimized. I mean, this one is just called Genocide. And it's about Indians, not American Indians, not the other Indians. This is what it's called. God parts the Red Sea for the Jews to escape from Egypt. This is not an algo optimized channel. This is Old Man Yells at Cloud. I mean, let's play a little bit of the Genocide one and see what it sounds like. Here, you can hear what Michael Savage sounds like. Here, all right, check it out.
Today, I want to talk about a horrible topic called genocide. What's important to me is that the information is permanently stored in 7 museums around the world, not because the Fijian people are subject to genocide, thank God, but because, like all native cultures, their own knowledge of their own people and their own traditions is dying off. I remember when I first arrived in Fiji in 1969, I went into Namosi village in the back of the
It's 90% bullshit, but it's entertaining.
It's not even entertaining. I don't know who listens to this crap. He's crying about the Fiji genocide. I guess he believes in the white genocide and the Fiji genocide.
If you see how they killed all the buffalo,
but
are equally horrendous, such as the Atlantic slave trade and the Circassian genocide, they're considered mass atrocities or genocides by historians.
Who listens to this? Okay. Let's look at the comments. And there's not even any comments. What's the live chat look like? Let's see the live chat replay. It's not even a live chat. Great stuff. Here he's talking about addressing that Trump reposted his actual summary.
Instead of doing a breakfast coffee talk, I thought I would do end of the day talk. Finished working, beautiful day. Hope you're joining me. And if so, we'll go through some of the things that happened. The big news for me personally is that without further ado, President Trump reposted my essay on birthright citizenship and the dangers it poses to America on his Truth Social. It's a big deal. A lot of people noticed it. And I want to thank President Trump for paying attention to some of my...
So he's happy with this. Now, what's important here is that, as I said, Michael Savage here, this has 5,000 views in 3 hours. This is who is influencing the president right now. And I know this sounds like, oh yeah, it's obvious. No, it's not. Like, really think about this. Michael Savage, this boomer who just yells at the clouds here, this guy here who interviews Alex Jones 13 days ago, which whatever. I'm sure we have Alex Jones fans here. I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones. I think he's ridiculous. But whatever. This guy has a direct line to the presidency. The president will repost, if you want to call it hateful or whatever, comments about Indians and Chinese from Michael Savage, Michael Weiner. This is really fascinating. I know this sounds like, oh, whatever. This is who President Trump is listening to. This boring boomer is talking, and look, nothing wrong with boomers. I love boomers. There are great boomers out there. This guy is a particularly boring boomer. There are boomers that have great stories, dude. I love hearing about Woodstock. This guy's just yelling all day about the Fiji genocide and how people can't. This guy has the ear of the president. Our presidents used to have Henry Kissinger, or what was the Polish guy's name, or Condoleezza Rice, or something. These are the people who are talking to the president, whether it's direct or indirect. And this is what you should notice. This is why we do this show, because now I know here there's another signal to monitor, unfortunately, because now you have to listen to this. This is how you find truth, if there even could be such a thing for a Baudrillardian. But I guess I would call it guidance in this world. We now know that Donald Trump is getting guidance from Michael Savage. He also watches Bill Maher. He also watches Tucker Carlson. But we know the people that he takes seriously enough to repost are people like Michael Savage. We know that for sure. He takes Douglas Murray's another one. He said that you should buy Douglas Murray's book. I'm sure he hasn't read it. But this is actually important. Okay, this is who he's going to listen to Michael Weiner, as he talks about how America's becoming a colony of India. Okay, this is who is, I wouldn't say the shadow president, but they're in control of some sense. He who has sway and influence over Trump is going to be in control of the direction of the country. And these are the signals you want to monitor, man. You want to look at who people are listening to, especially enough that they'll do this. See the chat here. Efra said something. Check if he's connected to the Heart Foundation. I think he might be. The Heartja Foundation. Heartja Foundation. Heart Foundation. Are you sure you spelled that right, Efra? I'll check for you. But is that Heart? Do you mean Harg? Let me check here, because we talked about that before. Heart Foundation. No. Efra, how do I spell that properly? Let me know, because I'll look it up. So this is very ridiculous but it's good to know that this is Donald Trump is possibly tuning into a Michael Savage live stream that has 17,000 views in 4 days to get his news, to get his information. This is really something. But I wonder, for example, what was Trump thinking of last month? Let's see. Let's go 1 month ago. Let's see this. Why Hormuz is closed. What was Michael Savage saying then? I'm sure he's going to take forever to get to the point. He's going to take forever to get to the fucking point. The Heritage Foundation? Literally no audio. Boomer tech to start.
Wednesday evening about the breach. And the school district was working with the FBI before officers arrested him at his home 4 miles away from the school. Now, Najim Chris initially told police he was a security guard. However, he is unemployed and does not. I said 0%, 100%, 50%, 5%. It's interesting how the voters, there were only 1,000 voters, but it's the Savage Nation voters. 26% of you said there's 0% chance. 29% said there's 100% chance that Israel will use the Samson option. 29% said 50%, and 15% said 5% that Israel reverts to the Samson option. Israel will not disappear. They will use a nuclear weapon if they have to. They will nuke Iran if they have to. And don't you ever forget for 1 minute, as terrible as that thought is, we were the only nation, or are the only nation, that used 2 nuclear weapons on a civilian population.
Okay, so this is starting to make sense now, what Trump was tweeting then, right? And his actions. This is actually starting to make sense. Because he's saying here that Israel is willing to use a nuclear weapon. President Trump is listening to this. He's saying that Israel will use a nuke. Does this line up with President Trump saying he wants to erase a civilization? Does this line up with Trump's escalation of the war a month ago? I mean, I'm sure if we go back from the beginning of the presidency till now, we will find that Mark Levin, I was going to call him Mark Levin, that Michael Weiner over here has had significant sway over the president like this. And yes, John Scone, I'm sure no one is going to use a nuke. However, if President Trump is listening and taking him seriously, Michael Weiner here, if he is taking him seriously, which it seems like he is because he's literally copy-pasting onto his Twitter what he says, then who knows what he thinks is real and not. Apparently, the voters in the Michael Savage Twitter poll, or they are the ones who are deciding the foreign policy of the United States. That's how it works. Michael Savage asked his viewers whether Israel would use the Samson option and nuke everyone. And then we make a policy that way. And he says, hey, don't worry about it because America used nukes on Japan. This is insane. This is how the government is being run. Whenever someone tells you, oh, we just have to vote or something, this is why, you guys know how I feel about voting. This is who's running the government. And the left is not absolved of this either. They were listening to the most retarded people on the left for a long time. You got rid of Bill Clinton, you got rid of James Carville, whether you hate them or love them. These were people that at one point in time were sane. And now this is what people listen to. Did he mean the Heritage Foundation? Let me check here if he's connected to the Heritage Foundation. I am sure he is. I'm actually sure he is. Heritage Foundation, Michael Savage. Absolutely. No direct connection. No direct connection ever. But yes, I really think that this is important, man. Like this episode was called Conservative Movement is Dead in all caps. The one where he talked about Indians. And it's just insane. This is how the country is being run. This is how the country is being run. You know, you can be mad about it. But you should. I'm telling you, man, this is the stuff that actually matters. This is why when people here are arguing like a bunch of goys, where is it?
Some Gentiles are very stupid. They'll never think. They only want the beer and the alcohol and the sport and the football and the 4th of July barbecue and the beach and the tattoos and the clubs. That's all they have in mind.
While the goys, my fellow goys over here, are fighting about whether Trump is based and red-pilled because he's attacking Indians. I saw a lot of that on Twitter. Or, they're saying that Trump is racist and evil because he attacked Indians. What you should be doing, the elite ball knowledge, is to go straight to the source, which is Michael Savage, because now you have some signal and maybe you can invest accordingly. Maybe you can try to understand the world you're in instead of being the goyiest goy to ever live. I love that my president hates Indians now.
I can't stand these fucking people, man. The joke is becoming a reality. Every day I hate one more person. They drive me crazy, man.
Your president is racist. The president is taking cues from Michael Weiner on YouTube, his stream that gets 1,000 views. That is how he's making decisions. Who cares if he likes Indians or not? He is posting Michael Weiner. I saw all these people. President Trump is so racist. How could he say that about Indians? President Trump is so great for attacking H-1B visas. Oh my God. President Trump is posting a compilation of a YouTube stream of an insane person on YouTube, an insane boomer. That to me is the story as a Baudrillardian. Mystery Lou says, would you get head from Jigsaw Laura Lumen? Dude, is that true, dude? Like, did that actually happen, or are they just fucking around? Because I don't know, this is too much, dude. I'm starting to come around to the conclusion that Trump is gay, but that's just something else. J-Boss says, the drinks business says, any wine claiming to be older than 1952 should not contain even a trace of cesium-137, according to researchers from the CNRS. Believing in nukes is the gayest. I don't know what the wine thing means, J-Boss. I know that you and Efra are you guys are the, as they say in Spanish, the eggs of the chat, the smart ones on the science stuff. I don't want to get into my schizo theory, but whether nukes are real or not, they are effectively fake because no one is going to use them. And effectively, that makes them not real. And when they try to traumatize you with crap like this, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Dog and cover. Can you believe when people ask, they're like, why are the boomers the way they are? Because they had to watch this in history class or whatever. They had to watch this. They told them that this was going to save them from a nuclear bomb. This.
Diddle-dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do.
You're growing up watching this on the TV. You're growing up here watching, and you wonder why boomers live for today and not tomorrow and don't plan for the future. They told them they could hide under their desk, and a nuke would not kill them. This is really creepy to watch, dude. I don't even like hearing the song. But okay, this is why, okay? It's just insane shit, okay? Anyway, that's the story about the Indians. Hey, Mr. Elu says, I mean, who but a gay guy would care about ballrooms? Dude, I was thinking more about what Tucker said about Trump and how he doesn't fit in with the WASP. And I was like, dude, why has Trump only married Eastern European women? I remember one time Barito Lindo was saying that, you know, this was a lot of trafficking. I'm not sure I'd go that far, but I was like, could Trump not find a WASP beard so he could get into the BNT club? Because you just marry into it. Why wouldn't he marry into the WASP thing? You know, I have to believe there's more than like this loud thing or something. And by the way, I just want to say something. I never liked the book, The Great Gatsby, or the movies. And F. Scott Fitzgerald is a moron in retrospect because the new money president did this. He did this, okay? I'm not saying whether Trump is good or bad, but the societal effects, the Baudulardianism that we're living in, the postmodernity, where all the liberals are insane and all the conservatives are retarded, that came from a new money president. When George H.W. was president, and that old money, it was nice, okay? Anyway. John Scone says nukes are real, but effectively they are not. That's my contention. I think effectively they're not because no one's going to use them. So if no one's going to use them, then they're not real. We might as well behave like they're not real. Why am I going to be scared of something that is not real in terms of its actual use? As Stephen Miller said, a system is what it does. All right, everyone, that's the end of the show. But before we do that, you guys may have seen me use this drop here. Where is it?
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed.
We do a little bit moment of Zen on this show. We do a little bit Jon Stewart, okay? And I wanted to bring this back in case no one remembers where this is from. I have this downloaded, okay? This is the greatest piece of American art ever produced. I had an alt Twitter back when this came out during COVID. There have been Norman Rockwell's, there have been Mark Twain's, there have been Robert Frost's, there have been, what's his name? The guy who painted the Founders. Whatever, dude. There have been all sorts of amazing American artists. There have. Orson Welles. But no one has been able to surpass the beauty in this ad that was put out as a public ad to get people vaccinated in Arkansas during COVID. I stopped making art. I used to make more artistic stuff back in the day, But I stopped because I saw this ad and I said, I will never be able to top this. This is America's Da Vinci painting. So I wanted to watch it with you guys so you could understand the drop, where it comes from, just for some levity. Let's watch this ad that came out during COVID. This is the state of Arkansas. Where the hell is the play button?
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the vaccine. Because if you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine.
Thank you, Jen, for another super chat. Wow, that's so nice, Jen. Let me do the air horns. We're gonna do two of them. Big brain guy. Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate that. We have a lot of nice people in the chat, super chatting tonight. I appreciate Robert and Jen. You guys are great. Thank you. I try to be a little big brain. And so let's actually apply that. Do you understand how beautiful this is? I need you to understand something. Before we even look at the dialogue, they had this man here, Richard Johnson, wearing a gold chain with a giant pendant, in an Eye of Horus t-shirt with his tattooed sleeve. And this is like an iced out AP with his little bracelet here. Okay. This ad is amazing. I don't understand if you're understanding why this is so good. Now let's listen to what I'm standing against a classic Ford Mustang. Do you understand how good this is?
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler.
You have to understand I'm a hustler.
I'm a legit entrepreneur.
I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things.
I come in contact with people all the time.
This is a drug dealer. This is a drug dealer. This was made by the state of Arkansas with public money. This is it, okay? He's shooting this. Does this not look like it could be a backdoor nightclub? In Miami, it could be. One more time. Let's listen to him talk. One more time.
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things.
He also has iced out earrings.
Come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the vaccine.
He has the Eye of Horus. Just to remind you, this is a Hotep. Do we have any Hoteps in here tonight? We have a Hotep who is telling the black community to get vaccinated with his iced out. This is the best piece of art I've ever seen in my life.
If you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets.
If you live the type of lifestyle that I live, if you're out here in these streets
and you
hustling,
an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously.
And the urgency. So I want everybody to take this seriously.
Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine.
This is guys, I think about this ad once a week. I'm not even fucking with you. I hope you understand. I wanted to do this because I want you guys to have context for the replay. And I'm trying to be a little big brain here. Do you not see? I would pay, if I could go back in time, if they ever made a time machine, I would want to go to two things. The first one, the genie shows up with a time machine. Hey, King Leo, you can go back, 9/11. I want to see it from all angles. What? You want to? That's horrific. 3,000. I want to see 9/11 from Jersey, and then I want to see it from Brooklyn. Then I want to see it in Manhattan, and then I want to see it from Rhode Island. You couldn't even see it from, I don't care. 9/11 now. I want to go see it. I would like to see 9/11. And the other one is the boardroom where they came up with this ad. Because you know that what happened here is that they were like, it was a group of Arkansas government. We can assume that there are black people and white people there. And I don't know. I have to assume for this case that it was mostly white people, like good meaning Southerners, because I love the South and I love Southerners. And they were like, how do we sell the black people on the vaccine? And they came up with this, and they had like one little shit lib that went to Brooklyn and came back home. And he was like, guys, this is racist. You can't do this. This is Get your New York F word out of here. This is not racist. This is how the blacks are. They are entrepreneurs. They sell things. I know. I buy my things from the blacks. What is wrong with you? You hate America. Do you hate white people? Do you hate black people? You know, he's just JLPing it.
You are fighting against America and you hate white people.
I hate it. And the guy is just frustrated, pulling his hair out like, no, dude, I'm telling you, this is racist. This is the worst thing you've ever. And he was wrong, because this is the greatest thing I've seen. Like, if you had to, even if you called it racist, this is racist in the same way that a great film like Birth of a Nation is racist. Like, it is so good. It transcends racism. It is more important than whatever feelings. One more time. Efra says, so is the government telling you to become a hustler, whatever? Yes. And that's the beauty of it. The government is endorsing an alternative lifestyle. The only mistake they made is, I'm sure someone was like, well, we got to give him a cool car. Yeah. These blacks, they always got them cool cars. They got a car that, you won't catch a black in a car that's not, and they said a Cadillac. Nah, that would be racist, because we know the black people, they love the Cadillac. Should we give them a Hellcat? No, that would be, give them a little bit some, we'll maybe have some class. We'll give them a Ford Mustang. Classic car. Something you could imagine a black with and it's so good. One more time, man. One more time. This is my favorite.
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt.
And look, every detail in this, it gets better every time you watch it. Look as his title comes up on the right. I'm going to move my head. Look, it says, let me look at this. Look at this. Richard Johnson, entrepreneur. They left it as that. Richard Johnson, entrepreneur. Can anyone, can Orson Welles, can Tarantino, can anyone hold up and this shot here is better than anything I've seen in any American movie ever. This is better than something in like a Pulp Fiction or Contagion or The Third Man and there is no shot better than this. And it's not even, it is done correctly. The rule of thirds, you can't tell me this isn't the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things.
My producer and I say this to each other. This is how you know it's real art, when it stays with you, and you will catch yourself tomorrow after having this breakdown saying, I'm a hustler. I'm an entrepreneur. I sell things. I say that involuntarily. It comes out of me. I'll be buying something at the Publix. And they'll say, did you find everything pleasant? And I'll say, I'm a hustler. I'm an entrepreneur. I sell things. And they'll say, what? What the hell are you talking about? I'm sorry. I was overtaken by great art. Sometimes you just have to quote Colonel Kurtz. Sometimes you have to quote this ad. It's one more time. It's just so good.
To understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the vaccine. Because if you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine.
They had to put out, by the way, just so you know, let me show this to you since we're doing this breakdown here. This is one of my favorite COVID things, man. It really is. Richard Johnson, Arkansas, COVID. Look at this. They had to put out an article saying that he's not a drug dealer. Look at this. Local Memphis. Richard Johnson is not a drug dealer. No, he's not. He never said that. He's a legit entrepreneur who sells things. Goes viral. Company speaks out. Let's watch the response to this. Look at this.
I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I'm in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe.
A Black-owned advertising firm called The Design created this vaccination ad, hoping it would encourage more people to get the COVID-19 shot.
If you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely?
But rather than encourage, some people say they're just offended, like these people who took to Twitter to share their reactions, one of them saying, quote, "This is distasteful and stereotypical." The creators say that wasn't the intention.
Richard Johnson is not a drug dealer. Richard Johnson is not a fake entrepreneur. Richard Johnson is an entrepreneur who has a luxury clothing line.
Myron Jackson, president and CEO of the company, says his firm
resonate with people and they do what we need them to do. They spark discussion. They're very provocative.
So why did the company feel it needed Richard Johnson to say he's a hustler who sells things in order to get Black people vaccinated?
The reason why we were so excited about him, because he's authentic. He's true. He's what you see in communities all across the country. And they say, whoa, you mean the local street cat can go get it? I know I can too.
Jackson says the video wasn't scripted and Johnson was intentional with his phrasing so viewers could relate to him.
Richard just is an example of someone who's out here every day trying to provide a living for himself. Richard in no way should represent the entire Black community.
Jackson says if people automatically assumed Johnson was a criminal, then it raises the question.
Is an urban male with tattoos on his arm immediately identified as a drug dealer?
Jackson says this is the message Johnson wants to tell his community.
I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine.
The firm says it will continue to release ads that target specific...
That's enough. But did you catch that where he said, actually, if you find this to be offensive or racist, you may be the racist. And that is what great art does. It makes you stare into the abyss. It makes you consider it makes you ask yourself questions. Am I a racist for assuming that Richard Johnson, who's a hustler, a legit entrepreneur, I sell things? Was it racist of me to assume that things meant drugs? I really don't think it was.
Sensational.
Ever says so the drug dealers, Big Pharma got a drug dealer. That sounds like... One more time. This is just so...
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the vaccine. Because if you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine.
Dude, I feel like Eric Kirk when you see something that beautiful. Yeah, he's just gonna cry. I wonder how much they got paid for that ad. See John Scone. I'm not gonna reprimand John Scone because I'm not saying I disagree with your opinion or anything, John. I'm just saying we can talk about the COVID vaccine now, right? Like we're allowed to talk about it. I didn't get that shit personally. I did not get it, dude. I was playing soccer. There's this app. I'm not gonna plug it because the owner's an asshole. I met him. Yeah, I was playing soccer one time with this app that like lets you randomly meet up with people. And this guy, Bolivian guy, but like not like a indigenous Bolivian, like more of like a white guy. We were playing. We played a whole game of soccer. Me, him, and like random strangers. It was like fucking 20 of us. This app lets you meet up. And the game ended and he collapsed on the floor and stopped breathing. And we were like, this is right after COVID, like 2022 or something like that. And I was like, holy shit. You know, I've been hearing a lot in the news. Listen, man, I like mRNA technology. I actually do. But I was like, this is for cancer. That was my skepticism of it, you know? And he died there. He was actually dead. Like the EMTs came out, he was dead. And he was gone. They brought the fire truck and they took him to the hospital. And no one knew each other. So we were like, should we exchange information? We went through his wallet. We couldn't find anything. couldn't get into his phone. And I was like, shit, dude, this sucks because now he's going to go to the hospital. No one's going to know who he is. And so I went to the hospital, which was the local one, the closest one, the one that made the most sense, the Baptist. And I walk in there and his mother, who's a nice Bolivian lady, and his sister and his grandmother are crying. And he's asleep with intubated. And I was like, is he alive? And they're like, who are you? Because I just went in there. And I was like, dude, I was playing soccer when this happened. They were like, no one told us anything. And I was like, no, but what happened? I have to know. And they were like, myocarditis. I was like, what? They were like, yeah, they're crying, right? And they're saying because like the vaccine, young men, you know, they're doing exercises, they're developing it. And I was like, is he gonna live? Is he gonna be alive? And they were like, yeah, they say he's gonna live. And 2 more guys showed up, including the owner of the actual app that we texted through the app. We were like, yo, dude, someone died. I'm sure he was worried about a lawsuit. He gave me a shirt for the app. And he woke up. We kept going back. He finally woke up. And he was like, dude, it's crazy. They have to install something in my heart. Like some sort of, it wasn't like a pacemaker, but some sort of electronic device. And I was like, are you going to do it? And he said, I'm not doing it. And I was like, dude, why? He was like, because he said if they didn't install it, he could die at any moment. Like that, just drops to the floor. He was like, I've done enough to myself, man. I fucking trusted these people. I had to get this for my job. I work at a warehouse. And I can't believe it. Like this is one of those things that you don't expect to happen to you. And I was like, fuck, dude, like that's crazy. You know, and one of the other guy who was there, he was very nice. He was like, dude, his name was Richard, the guy. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I was in contact with his mother for a little bit. She was really like very appreciative that we went by because no one else went by. The cops didn't tell her what happened. And if it weren't for me and the other guy, she would not know what happened. And it's just so sad, dude. Like, it's so sad. I hope he's alive. I really do. But it made me angry, dude. And I had personal stuff in the family with the vaccine. I had someone who had an organ transplant who got it, even though they hadn't tested it on organ transplantees. You can guess how that went. So, you know, I'm glad we can talk about this now. But it's just terrible, man. Terrible stuff. I if you guys got it, you know, I don't disagree with anyone that got it. If you wanted to get it for yourself or whatever, that's up to you. But I found it to be very dangerous. Yeah, see some agreement here. That's pretty crazy, dude. I remember it used to be illegal to say that. Eve says, best news I've heard, not about your friend. What do you mean? That he survived? I was very happy to see him survive. I was very, very happy. I was very, very happy to see him survive. And it's a shame. Like, it really bothered me. The way they did this I don't like to talk about COVID, dude. I really don't like to talk about it. But let's just talk about it really quick. The way they did it, the vaccine, I didn't like it because mRNA technology was very promising for cancer. And just like with stem cells, when you have such a negative image of something, it makes it impossible for people to research it. Thank God they didn't pull the research from it. But mRNA technology is very good for cancer. It's very good. And I was excited for it because I had read about it in Popular Science as a kid. Like, I was like probably 13 and I read about it and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. But yeah. Eve says, best news is he didn't get the vaccine. I didn't get it, dude. I was working at a company. I won't dox the company or anything at the time. And it wasn't even like, I wasn't like a jihadi or anything about it, you know, but I was like, all right, you know, I'm not going to get this. I don't think that it's worth getting for me. I still think it's worth getting. I had the worst cold I ever had in my life during COVID, and I got tested because apparently those tests didn't work either. And they were like, oh, you're COVID negative. I was like, this is the worst cold I've ever had in my life. How can this not be COVID? Anyway, but yeah, I remember where I was working, which was remote. They asked me to submit my vaccine card, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And they were like, why? I was like, because that's my private medical information. Why would I give that to you? Have you asked me if I have AIDS? Do I need to turn in an AIDS test? And they left me alone. But I was like, people got way too comfortable with their employers. You know, because people love being a slave. They love themselves a good whipping. And they were just giving that up. Like, oh yeah, my medical privacy out the window. I don't care, to my employer. Dude, if it's the government, it's one thing. Whatever. The government is always going to get it. But the employer, fuck you. You're going to take my shit? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Guys, we have to get out of here, but let's just watch this one last time. I'm really glad Mr. Elu came back. Thank you again, Jen. Jen, I'm going to put stuff here for like the contributors, for the members and all that. I'm going to modify the Chiron here because I have everyone down here. Jen's in here. Everything's in here for donating and all that, but I'm going to upgrade the Chiron a little bit. Let's watch this and get the hell out of here, man. Oh, John got COVID. I did get COVID. I remember breathing, but feeling out of breath. Like your lungs are useless. I don't think I got it, dude. I don't know in retrospect because I really was dying when I was sick. I was like, this is terrible. I don't remember any lung issues, but I was like, I feel like shit, man. And they were like, it's not COVID. And I was like, all right, if that's not COVID, you know. Jen says, I have a paid subscription to Adobe. I was wondering that too, because I know people that had fakes and that were selling fakes. In Miami, you could buy a fake COVID card really easily, but it wasn't necessary. You didn't really need it anywhere. And I was like, yeah, people were buying this. Nurses were selling that shit. I know a nurse that was selling that. It's like, you know. So I was like, what is the point? This is counterfeit. I don't really get it. Yeah, so let's just end with this, man, one last time.
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the vaccine. Because if you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the vaccine.
So if you're a hustler, if you're a hustler, you're an entrepreneur, a legit entrepreneur, if you sell things, you out in these streets, consider becoming a member on Patreon. Link is in the description. Consider becoming a member on YouTube to get the stickers. Ephra, I hope you saw the stickers. There's new stickers. Eves, you saw the stickers, right? I think you used one of them. There's new stickers. I know Audio Vibe saw them for anyone that's a member on YouTube. But also, there's a membership on Patreon where you get the King Leo Movie Club. Let me know what you think of the stickers, dude. Also, it's actually a lot easier to add stickers than I thought. So if you become a member on YouTube, which is $1.99, check the stickers and let me know what you think. Guys, I added Pepe, which is very controversial. I added the Spanish guy laughing, and I added Soy Jack. So let me know what stickers you want. It's really easy to add them. I was so confused the first time I added them. Yeah, the Soy Jack. Yes, Emperor has Soy Jack. Yes, that's so. No one's used Soy Jack yet. Very good, very good. All right, let me know what you want added or anything. Feel free to hit me up. I'm going to catch up with the Discord tomorrow and the Patreon chat. Eves is using, those are all the stickers. Let me know if you guys want anything else. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world.